this is like a box of hell. You know, we don't get no news, no talk, no nothing.
Durk's criticism of incarceration has been open, but it's worse now. Reports state that when the agents finally approached him, he leaped inside. The attack appears to be related to the death of Lil Pab. I am familiar with everything. Now let's get started. Closed from the inside out. Your bank account and platinum trophies are not worth much at the Los Angeles Metropolitan Detention Center. After being incarcerated, Lil Durk was transferred to this federal facility, which opened his eyes to a whole new world. One where you are known for your ability to follow the unwritten rules that keep you alive, your terror, and your respect. Although some of the animals may be familiar to you from your neighborhood, this is not the county jail. This is where the real wolves from all around the country are kept at federal time. Everyone has their own objectives. Due to Durk's reservations for overseas flights, his alleged violation of jail rules, and his flight risk, judges have repeatedly denied him bail. His bail requests have been consistently denied by these courts, which suggests that they think he would either run away or cause problems if he were freed. For someone with Durk's experience, MDC Los Angeles' demographics are perfect. His involvement with Chicago's notorious street gang, the Black Disciples, could have a significant effect on his prison sentence. Every area in America has its share of cats, some of which have a grudge with BD specifically, some with Chicago cats, and some who want to make their own name sound familiar by removing a famous BD. First and foremost, the prospect of running into any gangster followers, or GDs, must be keeping Durk up at night. The followers of Black in the Chicago gang scene, Durk's affiliated group, the Gangster Disciples and BDs, have a long-standing conflict with a related but competing group. There is no doubt that this long-running animosity continues outside of prison. Constrained space and unrestricted time could, if anything, increase that hostility. It gets worse. According to a circulating FBI affidavit, Durk has previously invested in GDs, Stephen Mack, a suspected leader of the Gangster Disciples Smashville chapter, was shot dead in January 2022 after leaving a Chicago youth center, and Durk allegedly offered money for his assassination, according to the affidavit. If that is correct, Durk is not only addressing the general BD vs. GD dispute. He may have individuals around him who want him dead, for very specific, very personal reasons. However, he has more problems than only the GDs. Due to the case's public notoriety, prisoners with ties to Rondo's team or their larger network would view Durk as a target. A small-scale street dispute was not the only reason for the alleged murder. This was discussed on all hip-hop platforms, garnered national attention, and made headlines. This suggests that some cats may consider Durk to be a high-value target, and even cats who were previously ignorant of Quando Rondo are now aware of this occurrence. The next factor is the snitch factor, and that's the prison kiss of death. According to rumors, Durk's own people betrayed him. Durk's arrest was partly attributed to FF member FF Jam, who allegedly wore a wire and cooperated with investigators after serving a 12-year sentence in the joint, according to social media reports. Even if you are the victim of rats, being associated with them can portray you as weak, compromised, or untrustworthy.
Everybody's already, they gone. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Durk probably the only one that can walk away. If, you know what I'm saying, they really like, no, he had nothing to do with that, y'all going off of iCloud and this and that and this and that and he could have, if they do have a text message of him saying, oh, don't put no flights on it, it could have been for a show, it could have been for anything, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, we don't know, you know what I'm saying? But it's like, they don't really have shit on Durk. Like, but he was the man with money.
Right.
That's how I look at it. He was the man with money, so we just gonna put it on him.
It is possible that Durk is already experiencing that strain in ways that the public is not aware of. As social media posts suggest that he may have had periods of solitary confinement, according to a Pushisti associate. This, however, is the problem that makes Durk's predicament more complicated. His wealth and notoriety make him a target and potential danger. When other inmates make demands on prominent inmates, extortion is a common occurrence. Monetary compensation, commissary goods, or favors in exchange for security or just being left alone. If the facility thinks you're easy prey with a lot of money, all of its opportunistic cats will want to get a piece. In contrast, Durk's alleged history of organizing violent crimes shows that he is more than just a rookie rapper.
But it's like that's a murder for hire with a murder, like, cause I did my homework on it. It's like, if they catch you and it was like you attempted to do murder for hire and nobody got hurt, it's 10 years. If somebody got hurt, it's 20, 25 years. If somebody got murdered, it's life. So somebody died, it's like that's his stipulations. His stipulations already started life.
Housing for someone like Durk is a challenge for the federal system. Durk might be vulnerable to unpredictable threats from unrelated inmates, or those hoping to make a name for themselves by targeting a well-known individual, since the facility is reportedly home to a diverse population of federal prisoners from various regions. There are cats from every coast, every big city, and every type of criminal group. Some people may respect his music, others may hate all he stands for, while others may see him only as an opportunity to enhance their own reputation. In actuality, although your street cred may get you respect within the federal system, it can also turn you into a target. Durk allegedly took part in several homicides, his connection to one of the deadliest neighborhoods in Chicago, and his purported capacity to plan attacks across state lines. As a result, other inmates will be closely monitoring him, whether they are looking for protection, opportunity, or retribution. The story of Lil Durk, who was born Durk Devontae Banks in the Englewood trenches in the harsh streets of Chicago, where devotion may result in a life sentence and your reputation is etched in blood, is one of the most poignant. The careful balance between preserving his freedom and remaining at 100 has been maintained by this cat since day one. Nevertheless, he is being held by the federal government at the Los Angeles Metropolitan Detention Center in anticipation of a trial that, could he has been attacked, permanently imprison him. But who was going to chase Durk? Lil Durk was arrested on October 24, 2024, near Miami International Airport for allegedly attempting to board a private aircraft that was headed for Italy. As though it were a scene from a mob film, the feds pursued him vigorously and talked about murder for hire. To understand how we arrived here, though, we need to go back to that cold November night in 2020 when everything went wrong. On November 6, 2020, King Von was smoked, but he wasn't just another drill scene victim. According to legend, Durk transformed from a well-known rapper trying to flee the slums alone to a man determined to return at that precise moment. The Van was killed in Atlanta when his group got into a brawl with rapper Quando Rondo's outside the Monaco Hookah Lounge. However, Van was more than just another member of Durk's rap crew. There was an authentic bond between these two, a street love that goes beyond music and money. Durk and Vaughn were so close that he referred to them as his twin and baby bro. They escaped the same concrete jungle of Oblak, where survival is a blessing and survival is a miracle. What's fascinating, though, is the reality about their connection since, according to what was claimed on the streets, things weren't quite as they seemed.
It wasn't until Von came around. He was singing, hanging out with Dead Life. Like, here's the thing I want.
I don't know
what you said earlier, I disagreed with. When you said, oh, Durk, the Fed's been trying to get Durk for ages. I disagree. Lil Durk had a couple little gun cases here and there. It was only when
the King Von situation.
It was only when Von came around.
It is not often known that Durk's entire reputation as a mobster was greatly enhanced once Vaughn returned home from fulfilling his offer. Prior to Van landing, Durk concentrated more on singing melodically in an effort to draw in women and get money from crossover. But Van's pure street energy changed Durk's stride entirely. Isn't the whole story changed by this? The successful artist with the label and the money, Durk, is right here. But there was something about Van that money could not buy. That real street cred made even his boss uneasy.
They was scared of Vine, man, and that was their downfall and destruction. Cause him, by signing, bringing him around the whole thing, bro. Some people you can't show the lavish life to.
That night in Atlanta, Von's death meant more than the death of a brother or friend. The primary worry was that Durk would lose the one individual who gave him that street stamp. Despite the fact that he stood to lose everything, Vaughn was the aggressor and delivered the initial blow, according to the security footage. Lou Tim, Quando Rondo's co-worker, and Van got into a brawl outside an Atlanta hookah lounge after Lou Tim's accusations were dropped. At that moment, Durk's predicament reportedly grew very personal. In addition to causing Durk pain, the feds claim that Van's death turned him into a violent individual. You see, Van's contributions went beyond his street notoriety. Their music was more authentic, unvarnished, and true than anything Durk had ever put out because of his instinct for murder.
And I feel like Von came through with this killer energy, blew up massively, and I think Durk realized like, yo, I need to be more street. We need no auto Durk. We need these more aggressive songs. Trying to sing love songs for the streets and gangsta pain music for the girls type thing weren't really working for him. It's working for Youngboy and Quando. It wasn't really working for Durk like that. And I feel like he's seen what happened with Von and he turned the gangster up a notch.
But when Van died, Durk is reported to have elevated it to a whole new level.
And then when Von died, I think Durk not only turned up the gangster a notch in the music, but also in the actual things that he was allegedly part of in the streets.
Portrait of a man who went from being a successful artist to an accused criminal genius out of despair and retaliation is being presented by the federal government. The prosecution claims that the conspiracy was retaliation for King Von's assassination in November 2020, and that Durk placed a bounty on Rondo's life, using F resources to cover the hitman's travel and housing. The alleged August 2022 hit tale sounds like it might fit well with a street movie. This plot culminated in the murder of Rondo's cousin Savia Robinson, also called Lou Pab, at a petrol station in Los Angeles in August 2022. Reports state that these cats traveled all throughout the country. The apparatus carried out the reconnaissance before attacking. According to reports, the group used 2 vehicles to track and follow Rondo while shooting at least 18 rounds, including from a fully automatic pistol. Rondo escaped unscathed, but Robinson died. Not just the brutality in this case, but the paper trail these individuals allegedly left behind is what makes it so sad. Even though Durk reportedly instructed them not to leave a paper trail, a hotel reportedly used a credit card linked to F to purchase flights. It's a startling irony. Reports state that this person cautioned his followers against making any fictitious airline reservations. But it was precisely this achievement that was supposed to protect him that entrapped him. You see, that's the issue with overcoming adversity. The state of your finances becomes a vulnerability. Durk allegedly used his family label to offer 5 associates money and music opportunities in order to carry out the act. If you have that amount of money and power, you can supposedly make things happen any place in the country. The federal government, however, is able to follow that identical money back to your home. Wilson, Keith Jones, David Bryan Lindsay, Ashton Houston, Kayvon London Grant, and DeAndre Dontrell are the 5 people suspected of taking part in this operation. These individuals were not typical. Durk's inner circle was said to consist of these individuals, who were trusted enough to be sent on a mission beyond state boundaries, paid enough to jeopardize their freedom, and loyal enough to supposedly carry out orders for their commander. The most unsettling intersection of the streets and the law, however, occurs here. This whole thing was purportedly motivated by loyalty, which has the potential to harm all parties. After Van's passing, Durk allegedly felt compelled to come back and prove to the streets that he was not weak. He took disrespect very seriously, but he allegedly tried to commemorate his dead brother by walking into a federal conspiracy that might cost him everything. When Lil Durk's trial date of October 14th, 2025 looms large in the darkness and his efforts to adhere to the code fail, the story's ultimate question becomes clear. Is Lil Durk going to succumb to keeping too genuine? Or is he the leading player in the perilous game between the streets where he grew up and federal prison? His survival to see the verdict could also depend on the answer to that issue, in addition to determining whether he wins this case.
Durk was embroiled in some eternal, I need you off of this earth beef. That's different.
Because of King Von?
Of course. Not only that, he needed the guys who killed his brother off this earth.
This was about more than ordinary business, territory, and respect, you see. Here, love, sadness, and the kind of loyalty that makes individuals do things that would ruin their own lives were all at work. Van's passing was more than just a blow for F's career. It was also like losing a brother, a protege, and the man who helped Durk become well known on the streets. This relationship reveals a more profound side of Durk's character and the choices that led him to this place. He wasn't only grieving over a friend. His goal was to carry on the legacy of someone who embodied all he wanted to be, but didn't. Van's genuine street credibility was something Durk had lost due to his success. Following Van's death, Durk reportedly made an effort to show that he was equally tenacious, devoted, and prepared to make sacrifices for his people. However, your Grammys and Billboard charts are irrelevant when it comes to resolving that score.
Well, the fact that Von was gone and he still was running the show in a way is kind of crazy.
Yeah, because the streets still with him. The streets still want to get back for Von. They want to get back, and you in the power to be around these dudes, you got the money.
Even after his death, Van reportedly continued to have an impact on actions that would eventually hurt his loved ones. The urge for vengeance as a sign of loyalty and to demonstrate that F will not put up with rudeness. It is said that all of it forced Durk to make decisions that he should have avoided because of his success. Durk allegedly chose certain people to carry out this assignment, which makes this instance particularly telling.
Out of that's the only thing I was surprised at with this Durk situation, Vlad. Like, when they brought up the five guys on the screen, I didn't think Diddy would be there with him, because that's Durk's friend. So I definitely didn't think he was gonna be there. But I thought it would be like some people we seeing in these videos waving guns around and jumping around like monkeys. It wasn't none of them. It all KFC workers, man, the janitors and shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, he went to go to the space station to go and get the guy with the glasses and shit. Like, I'm disappointed in Durk, man.
An essential component of Durk's purported conduct is revealed by this discovery. According to reports, he preferred loyal but inexperienced people over more seasoned ones who could have known how to work cautiously and covertly. Those who would make mistakes, leave traces, and ultimately trace him back to the authorities. It gets more difficult to determine if Durk is a leader or a target when you take into account that he appears to be both at the same time. As someone who reportedly planned violence across state lines, coordinated with several shooters, and utilized his company's infrastructure to support unlawful actions, he seems to be a highly skilled operator who leveraged his riches and position to target opponents throughout the country. But now that he's in the federal system, surrounded by adversaries from other fights, facing the possibility of life in prison, and depending on the allegiance of people who could save themselves by betraying him, he's the ultimate target in a game with bigger stakes than ever before. The whole situation is awful, as it didn't have to go this way. Durk had been able to get away from the place where so many of his loved ones had died. His achievement exceeded the expectations of most people from his background. He had enough money to live well, and without committing any crimes for the remainder of his life. In addition to Grammy acclaim and platinum recordings, he had successful commercial endeavors. However, Van's passing is said to have eclipsed all of that achievement, demonstrating that he remained the same devoted, resolute individual who had made it through Englewood's most trying streets. In an attempt to pay tribute to his departed comrade, he allegedly walked straight into a government plot that might cost him everything he stood for. Lil Durk is dealing with more than just another rapper who has been charged with a felony. It serves as a potent reminder that loyalty may turn into a life sentence, that the streets never truly let go, and that the core authenticity of drill music has the potential to ruin its creators. In a society where being honest can actually land you in jail for life, Durk's narrative will serve as a warning about the cost of doing so, regardless of whether he is released from prison or not. Perhaps in the end, it doesn't matter if he is a victim or a leader. It was an environment he helped build. All of them are being hunted till the music stops. Only those who are the most tenacious, lucky, or strategic survive to tell their story. The truth about Lil Durk's role as a predator or prey in the high-stakes game he supposedly played is that these roles change depending on the situation, the opponents, and your capacity to adjust when everything you believe to be true about survival. Loyalty and power is put to the ultimate test. We're grateful that you watched this video. In order to see another compelling narrative similar to this one, click on one of the boxes on your screen.